Throughout the Ukraine crisis, the opinion polls supposedly have continued to show very strong support for President Putin from the people at large. Is there any likelihood or evidence that after Mr. Nemtsov's murder, that there will be a groundswell protest movement that tries to replace the president with somebody else? I mean, or are the polls in fact accurate that Russians, regardless of what's been done, will continue to support the president as long as there is a conflict going on in Ukraine?
Well, let's start with the polls and then go to what could happen next. First of all, the polls can't possibly be accurate because if you're living in a evil dictatorship and a stranger calls you up on the phone and says, do you support the president or not, what are you going to say? You're going to say, of course I support the president. And so you can't trust an 88% poll rating when those same guys were lining up at night to frantically convert their rubles to dollars. So I don't think he has 88% approval rating, but he does have a high approval rating because they've been doing this big nationalist, sort of creating this nationalist frenzy on television. I don't think the Nemtsov murder is going to touch, the vast proportion of Russians. It's going to touch people like me profoundly and other people hoping for a liberal democracy. But what will, and what always does in these situations, is an economic crisis. Why did they have an Arab Spring? It wasn't because of a wave of democracy. It was because food prices and prices of fuel went up to people below the subsistence level, and they couldn't stand it anymore. There's going to be some catalyst related to the economics which will end Putin's regime. He doesn't know, and we don't know what that catalyst is going to be and when it's going to happen.